We're going to make a double exposure, but this time with pine cones. And every time I've tried this, I come up with a slightly different version. So we'll see what we come up with this time. We are going to start again with the photo of a girl. You'll notice I did change the shape a little bit, and we are going to use a picture of some pine cones. I've already changed it black and white for you. So go ahead and open up both these pine cones and the girl photo in Photoshop. Let's start with the girl. The first thing we're going to do is let's go ahead and unlock the background. So just press the lock. That will allow us to rename it. So double click and let's just call this girl. Let's go ahead and make a mask. So go to select, select and mask. And then press the button select subject at the top. Again, you might have to fix her hair. Use the brush tool to put that hair on top of her forehead back in. Let's increase the smooth to about 10. Increase the feather a little bit. And again, the output will be selection. And hit OK. Let's create a new layer. So in your layers menu, I wonder if I can make this a little easier to see here. Okay. In your layers menu, you're going to press the plus button. And then we are going up at the top to select inverse. And then go to your paint bucket, press your paint bucket. Make sure the color is white. Then click somewhere outside of the girl's head in the gray background, and you'll see that it creates a nice white area. Double click on layer 1 and rename this one white mask, M-A-S-K. So we've got 2 layers now, our white mask and our girl. Let's go to our pinecone image and click on the rectangle tool and then hit Control A to select all, and you should see the dotted lines appear. And then Control C to copy, and then go back to your image and press Control V as in Victor to paste your image. You'll see it comes in as layer 1, but go ahead and let's double click on it and call it pinecone. And then move this pinecone layers in between the white mask and the girl. So 3 layers now, white mask, pinecones, and girl. On your pinecones layer, you might have to edit this. I'm gonna make this a little bigger here. Oops. If I go to my arrow tool, my move tool up at the top of my tools, I'm going to kind of move my pine cones around just a little bit. And I am going to go to my layer menu, and where it says normal in the drop down, I'm going to press screen. Screen. All right, so now, again, I'm still on my arrow or my move tool, and I'm kind of moving this and I'm changing the size. If I hit Control T to transform, I can make this smaller. Again, I want to pull, don't pull sideways. Well, I guess it doesn't matter, but don't change the proportions. You want to keep the pine cones the same proportions. Anyways, I'm going to find a size that kind of looks good in the shape of her head. And I kind of like it maybe about there. Sort of like it covering her ear. And then I have to kind of make it look good. Oops, move it up just a little bit. Okay, so I can kind of see this white outline at the top, but at the bottom there's all this white covering her face, so I need to erase that. So I'm going to go to my eraser tool, and I'm going to make sure that my settings, I press that little triangle next to the brush at the very top, And I think I want this to be, it's at 162, the size, and the hardness is at 0. My opacity, I'm going to have my opacity at about 45, 50%. Okay. Then while I'm on my pine cones layer with the eraser tool, I'm going to start clicking. And you'll see that I get her face to show up. So it's going to take me a couple minutes here, and I'm just going to keep clicking until that weird white line around the pine cones disappears. Oops. And if I make a mistake, remember, go to your Windows history. And if you make a mistake, just back up to before you made the mistake. Don't keep working. Otherwise, you won't be able to erase your mistake after a certain point, and that would be bad. So I'm just gradually tapping again to get rid of the white until I think it looks pretty good. And what I do is if I go up to the eyeball next to the pine cones and hide it, I'm checking her nose and face to make sure I did indeed erase everything. And I might just make sure you erase everything off of her face so that her nose and her skin is coming out good. So I could leave it at this. This doesn't look too bad, but I want to show you one more trick that you might like. Let's go back to your pine cones, black and white, and let's hit Control A to select all, Control C to copy, and then go back to your girl again. Click on the top layer. In this case, it is white mask. Click on that, and then hit Control V to paste your pine cones. Go to your move tool, your arrow tool, and move these around. And I'm going to make it a little smaller so you can kind of see where I'm going with this. If I take out the white around the pine cone, it's going to look, it might add something. There's many ways to take out the white. I guess maybe the easiest would be for you to use your eraser tool again, and you could sit there and kind of tap on this until you get rid of that white. You could also use your magic lasso if you wanted to go a little quicker, but the reason why you might want to go back and add in some more pine cones is sometimes your picture just looks a little empty. And this is a nice way to kind of round it out a little bit. So you'll see here's my top layer with my pine cones. There it is without, there it is with it. I thought you might want to try this because sometimes it really can enhance your image quite a bit to add another layer of pine cones. I'm going to double click on and call this top pine cone. So go ahead and try this out. When you are finished, you can compress it and save it as a JPEG. So file, save as, save on your computer. If you're not finished, make sure you save this as a Photoshop file to keep all your layers. But if you are finished and you're ready to turn it into Google Classroom, choose JPEG. Put your name in front of girl or Mrs. White, but you put whatever name you want to put in, preferably your own name. Thank you. And then hit save. Oops, sorry, I already have a Mrs. White there. Save this, and then please attach it to your Google Classroom. Thank you so much.